What's up, y'all? What is up? It's your girl EJ, and I am back with another review and recap, and we're going to be talking about the BET Plus original, The Black Hamptons. Now, y'all, we've already done episode 1 and 2. If you want to check those out, just go right into the playlist where it says BET Originals, and you can check those out there. We're going to be going over episodes 3 and 4, so let's go ahead and get into it, y'all. Okay, y'all, so this episode is going to start out with your boy Jeffrey. He's going to run into Anthony. Now, Anthony and Reverend Chauncey and Anthony's son are going to be on their way to a fishing trip. And Jeffrey's going to be like, hey, I get it, but at the end of the day, this thing has a process. And we don't want this to turn into another situation like the Petersons, And so he's basically telling Reverend Chauncey, hey, let him know about the Petersons. So anyway, while that's going on, your girl Kimberly, who I don't even remember if she's actually a Britton, y'all. I think I said in episode 1 that she was a Britton, but now I'm starting to think, is she even a Britton at all? So if anybody knows if Kimberly is actually a Britton, then go ahead and let me know in the comments. But anyway, she is always making sure that Malcolm's things that are supposed to stay discreet, stay discreet. Now, she and Malcolm are talking about the 4th of July celebration where he's going to be having some people on the yacht, and we're finally going to get to meet this infamous Morgan, y'all. Now, Carolyn is going to meet Karen, and she's going to treat the girl like trash. I ain't even going to lie. She going to straight treat her like trash. She's going to be like, are you lost? You know what I'm saying? Like, this girl is coming to breakfast because Martin invited her to breakfast, and you're like, she got to go. And then she talk about the girl dress. I'm just like, come on now. Like, everybody can't afford the stuff that you got. Even though, she could probably get the money from her sister. And at this point, they don't know that her sister is Sydney. You know what I'm saying? That she's related to the Johnsons. So that would make it even more interesting if she were to know that. I wondered how that conversation would go even more. But anyway, so she's basically going to dismiss her. Martin really ain't feeling that. But anyway, your boy Anthony is going to go ahead and ask about the Petersons, and he's going to want to know what happened to the Petersons. And, Reverend Chauncey's like, hey, he killed himself right over there. And he tells about how, this feud with the Brittons got really ugly, and how, the Brittons basically destroyed this man's life and just tore up he was the owner of all of these, I think automotive companies or something like that. I think it was called Petersons Automotive and Parts, and how they basically just dismantled his company. You know what I'm saying? And they ended up backing another person who was in that same industry, and this ultimately led to the fall of his company. And I guess he just couldn't handle it, and he ended up killing himself. It got real personal between them. And Reverend Chauncey is like, hey, you know what I'm saying? He was like, Anthony was like, it's just business. And Reverend Chauncey is like, he was like, yeah, but he was like, they could have just outbid me if, they wanted the property. And then the Reverend is just like, yeah, that's what bothers me. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, both of these families have money. So they could have raised their bid up, and it could have turned into a huge bidding war, which we're going to find out later is exactly what Everett wants from this whole situation. But anyway, we'll save that for a little bit later. So anyway, after Reverend Chauncey tells him about that whole story and all that stuff, I would say that Anthony really didn't flinch too much about it, but I think he might start to realize that this family is not just your run-of-the-mill business family who plays fair. But anyway, he feels like he has the land solidified and that the deal is closed. I don't think he's really all that worried about it. So anyway, and I forgot to mention that this whole feud all started over a boat. Now, if they'll go that far for a boat, they'll definitely go that far for a piece of land. So anyway, y'all, Martin is going to say that he has all of these feelings for Karen. You know what I'm saying? He's going to say that, that he really cares about her. And if I'm not mistaken, I feel like they've only been on one date. Like, I honestly, low key, just don't get it. I'm not saying that, there's not a such thing as love at first sight and all this type of stuff. But maybe I am saying it. I don't know what I'm saying right now, y'all. Like, I don't know. Like, it just feels so weird. It is, and it's only because they're not showing us this amazing love story where these two just fall head over heels. It just feels like more lust than anything, in my opinion, but I'm just saying, like, I'm not seeing this powerful love story. Now, maybe in the book, they go into it a little bit deeper, because sometimes in TV series or movies, you're not able to go as deep as they do in the books. So maybe in the book, there's this whirlwind, super romantic thing, and he figures out that she's the one. But I'm gonna tell you right now, in this series, that's not what I saw. Let me know what y'all think, okay? So anyway, basically Martin and Malcolm are both talking, and Malcolm is like, hey, he understands the feeling because that's how he felt about Morgan. Now, as they keep talking about Morgan, but we still haven't met Morgan, and y'all already know what I thought about Morgan from episode 1. Now, clearly at this point, I already know, who Morgan is. I've already seen Morgan, and I've already kind of answered my question that I had from episode 1. But at the same time, they're keeping this identity of Morgan such a big secret. And the fact that the wife knows about Morgan, or the ex-wife knows about Morgan is somebody who is really important to Malcolm, and somebody that he really loves and cares about, because they've been in a whole relationship ever since he was married. And clearly Jesse is, what I think 21 is what we've learned. So this relationship has been going on for quite a long time. So I don't know. This is crazy. Okay, y'all. So meanwhile, your boy Everett and Jeffrey are going to have a meeting, and this is where we're going to learn a little more about your boy Everett, and that, Everett is just an opportunist. You know what I'm saying? And then we also learn a little more about this land and where this whole thing comes into play. So while Jeffrey's having the meeting, of course, Carolyn is going to show up, because you already know your girl Leslie definitely let her know that he was there. And so she comes by and she's like, hey, you were supposed to sell that land back to us. So turns out, apparently, supposedly, her husband, whose name is Moses, sold the land to the Everett family, the Simpson family. Now, keep in mind, the Simpson family and the Britton family were actually really good friends. Now, they sold the land in order to help the bank. But the agreement is that if the land were to ever be sold, that they would get the option to sell the land, and they would get it at to buy the land, and they would get it at the fair market value. Now, Everett knows all about this, but the thing is that Everett doesn't care about that. Everett cares about trying to get the most money that he can. And he knew that if he put that land up on the auction block, that he would get more than fair market value for the land. Because in theory, the land was already sold. He knew that he could sell the land for fair market value, but he wanted more than that. And that was his goal all along. And that's why he didn't want them to know about it ahead of time. That's why he wanted it announced at the HOA meeting, so that he could literally start a bidding war. And that's exactly what he did. Now he is about to get $8 million for this land. And he knows that if the Brittons really want that land, that they can outbid it, and he's like, well, maybe we can get it up to 10 million, because your boy Everett is an opportunist. He doesn't care about, the word that his father gave, because he's not his father and he's not his grandfather, as he's going to let it be known. So, it is what it is. Now, your girl Tania is going to get into it with Peter. Now, Peter is her boyfriend, of course, who is the sergeant's son, and he's just going to leave her there. He's like, I got to go. They're getting into it because apparently they don't spend a lot of time together, because he is training to be a boxer, and his dad is trying to elevate him and get him to the next level. And he's just like, you ain't got time for none of this other stuff, which kind of sort of makes us realize why she so easily is being, going into the arms of another man, because the man that she has doesn't have any time for her. Now, I'm not justifying it or saying anything like that. I'm just simply saying why she might be running to Jesse. Just my opinion. So anyway, y'all, Jesse's going to see this, and of course he's going to take this opportunity to go and talk to her and be like, hey, you want to hook up again? And so he's going to invite her to the 4th of July party. It appears everybody's going to be on boats. Everybody's going to be having separate parties, and it's just going to be a good time is what it sounds like. So anyway, y'all, just when you think that the Brittons didn't have any tricks up their sleeve, because it appeared that the land was just going to be sold for $8 million to the Johnsons, well, your boy Martin is meeting up with Mr. Singh. Now, if you don't remember Mr. Singh and this whole deal that, Sydney Technologies has, they're making this conglomerate deal that was going to make Mr. Johnson even more money. You know what I'm saying? And they were halfway through this deal. The only thing that needed to happen was the paperwork needed to be signed, and it was already on its way. But your boy Martin pulled a fast one, and he's going to talk to him, and he's like, hey, you really wanted that company Intech. Now, if you're doing business with my family, with our bank, and you move all your accounts to our bank, then we're going to back you on this deal that you want, because this was the deal that he originally sought after but was not able to get. Now, you already know what the caveat is. The caveat is that he has to drop out of the deal with Anthony. And this is going to hurt Anthony so bad if this man pulls out, because he's already put so many resources in it. And this guy, Mr. Singh, he knows that, but he's also a businessman, and he also has to look out for his business. So it feels like the Brittons were playing a little bit of chess on this one, and it looks like they made their next move, and it was a good one. Now, y'all, I'm not ready to count the Johnsons out all the way, because your boy Anthony looks like he is a good businessman and he knows how to land on his feet. So I'm definitely not saying that this is over for him, but it definitely is going to put him in a tough spot. And it's exactly what the Brittons did to the Petersons, tried to put them out of business, because ultimately that is exactly what they're trying to do. They're trying to cripple him financially so that he just don't have the money to buy this land. Okay, y'all. So meanwhile, your boy Martin is meeting up with Karen. They're all on the boat for the 4th of July party. They're with Malcolm. And he and Karen, they get even closer, and he's going to tell Karen a big secret that he has, and she's going to tell him her secret. Now, he's going to talk about Morgan and how he hates Morgan, and how Morgan is the real reason why Malcolm's marriage, is over. Malcolm wants to say that it's because of his mom, but it's really because of Morgan. And for whatever reason, he just ain't feeling Morgan at all. So that's his secret that he has. And then your girl Karen is going to tell about her secret. Now, this is when we're going to learn exactly why Anthony despises her so much. Now, she's going to talk about a time when she was really jealous of her sister and this marriage that she had to this great guy who, has all of this money. And she was jealous, so she decided to try to push up on him. She tried to sleep with him. However, he was super faithful and he didn't go for it. And, she lied to her sister anyway and said that he did. He ultimately ended up having to prove that he didn't do this. And that damaged her and her sister's relationship for a long time. They didn't start talking back to each other until after their mom passed away and try to fix their relationship. So this is the reason why Anthony didn't want her anywhere near the house. And it's kind of understandable at this point. So anyway, y'all, we finally get to meet Morgan, and lo and behold, it's not like it's any secret. I think we all probably figured this out at this point, because why else would everybody want this to be such a secret? Like, why would everybody want this to be kept so hush hush? And it appears that Morgan actually is a guy. He's a guy that Malcolm has been in love with for years. And Vanessa even knows about it, which then brings me to a whole nother issue that I have with Vanessa. But we'll save that for the last part of this when we get into the episode 4. So anyway, Morgan and Malcolm are going to have a real conversation. You know what I'm saying? And Morgan is just like, hey, I'm tired. I'm not going to keep being your secret. You know, I have this guy who loves me and he's okay with being with me out in the open. And, you know, he asked me to marry him with the ring and everything. And he asked me to go. I forgot where he asked him to go. But anyway, and he's just like, you know, he basically just letting him know, look, I'm about to be gone. And at this point, Malcolm is just like, he's like, okay, he ready to take it to the next level at this point. Like, if he feels like if he's going to lose him, like he has to do something so that he doesn't lose Morgan. So he tells Morgan that he's going to go talk to his mom and that he'll be back, and either he'll be moving in with him or he'll be bringing his bags to the yacht, one or the other. So of course, Malcolm is going to, skedaddle off to go tell Carolyn his great news, which we all know that's not going to go well. And also, as a side note, your girl Kimberly was definitely listening. So you already know that she's going to go and report this to Carolyn. So Carolyn's already going to have a one-up on Malcolm, because she's going to know all about his declaration of love and everything that he's, about to do. And so she's definitely going to try to offset this with a plan of her own. Now, meanwhile, your boy Anthony does decide to go to the Wyclef concert with Vanessa. They're going to hang out. They're going to meet Wyclef. Turns out Wyclef is a huge fan of Anthony's as well. He loves his technology. He loves his company. And so, they're both groupies of each other when it's all said and done. But Anthony is going to send him some of his products. And they're going to chop it up, and Wyclef is also going to agree to make sure that he shares it on social media as well. Now, at the end of the episode, we're going to see that Sydney is going to be super frantic because her husband hasn't come home, and it's not like him to not return home. And we're going to see in the last scene where Reverend Chauncey is going to be finding somebody on the beach. Now, it looks like this person is dead, but it turns out they're just hung over, and it is Anthony, and he's just kind of laying on the beach sleep. Like, who knows what happened to him? Maybe he got roofied or something. Who knows? But anyway, so that's how the episode 3 kind of ends. So we're going to go ahead and move on into episode 4, y'all. Okay, y'all, so this is the final episode of this limited mini-series, and we're going to find out that Anthony had way too good of a time. Like I said, they found him washed up on a beach, and he's also going to get this bad news about his deal. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't get this bad news until the final episode when they're looking at the other land, trying to figure out where they're going to put their pool. You know what I'm saying? And that's when the guy is going to tell him, like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Like, I have to pull out of this deal. It's in the best interest of my company. Now, you already know that this was all orchestrated by Carolyn. She's looking at them look at the land, and she realizes that, hey, I guess, Mr. Singh hasn't told him yet because they're still looking at this land. So she, of course, makes a call to Malcolm, who then encourages Mr. Singh to go ahead and make that call, which he does. And your boy is devastated because we're talking millions of dollars he is going to lose, like not just like a little bit of money, like millions of dollars. So this is crazy. Carolyn has definitely, in my opinion, went way too far with this whole situation. I understand that it was personal. I get all of that, but dang, did you have to do all of that? Now, come on. So anyway, y'all, Reverend Chauncey is going to meet up with Sergeant Lane. They're going to be talking, and Sergeant Lane, of course, is going to get visibly upset when he sees Jesse and Tania. I don't know why I'm always messing up this girl name, y'all. I mess up a lot of names though. But anyway, he's going to get visibly upset when he sees them together, and he's going to tell Reverend Chauncey, like, hey, I know that they're seeing each other. I saw them together. And then he's like, you didn't tell your son? And he's like, no. And then this is when we find out the reason why Sergeant Lane doesn't tell Peter. It's because Peter has a really big anger issue, and he's trying to save his son's life. He knows that if his son finds out about old girl and Jesse that he will definitely kill them, and he's trying to make sure that they accomplish a goal, that they do what they're supposed to do. That's why he put him in boxing in the beginning, to help him with his anger issues. And I mean, at the end of the day, if you know your child, you just know your child, but I feel like you're going to have to find a way to tell him, because right now you just got him out here looking stupid. I'm just saying, like, this is not really a big place, so I don't understand how nobody didn't see them just, scrolling along, and they look booed up. So how is he not gonna find out about this? Like, I don't know, it just don't make no sense to me. But anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think. Okay, y'all. So now, basically, now that the deal is kind of dead with the Johnsons, they can't afford this land. They're having to move money around to kind of offset all of the things that has happened because of this guy pulling out of this deal. When he pulled out of this deal, he cost them so much money in so many different areas. So at this point, this is what is his name? William, who is his finance person, is like, look, you're hemorrhaging money right now. Like, there is no money. So basically, like, the Johnsons are broke liquidly. You know what I'm saying? Not broke, because they still have the patents and those type of things. But as far as hard cash, you know what I'm saying? Like, as far as money that they actually have that's liquid, they ain't got none. They broke. You know what I'm saying? And this is all thanks to Carolyn, because, she wanted this land so bad, which we are going to find out why she wanted this land. And I guess we'll go ahead and talk about that now. So we are going to find out that the reason why Carolyn wants this land so bad is because this land is not a part of the Britton family. This land is actually a part of her family. Now, this is her surname's family land, the Cotman family. This is what her mom and dad worked really hard for. And turns out Moses actually sold the land without her even knowing it. So that's why she is so determined to get this land back, because it was the only thing that she had, and Moses just sold it away. So it feels like your boy Moses is going to be something else as well. Now, I don't know how these books work or how all of this goes, because I honestly have not read a Carl Weber book I want to say that I've read one before, but not in a really, really long time. I really would like to probably read some of these books, because it sounds like some really interesting stories. And I love books that cross over. Like, those are my favorite types of books that keep the story going. So it feels like there's more to this story. It feels like there has to be a story about the Brittons somewhere. It feels like there has to be something else. But anyway, if you've read the books, then let me know if there are more stories that are kind of intertwining, these families, or that talk about the Johnsons or anything like that. So anyway, y'all, sorry I went off on a tangent. Okay, y'all. So one thing that I don't think we ever got any closure with so far is the fact that we never find out. Well, we know that Karen and Sydney are sisters, but Carolyn never finds this out. Neither does Martin. So that's really interesting as well. But anyway, let's hop back to Malcolm for a second. So Malcolm's going to come in and he's going to try to make this big declaration of his love. But of course, Carolyn is not trying to hear that. And she ain't even going to let him get it out. Of course, she's going to play this role of, I'm so sorry, I shouldn't have never come between you and Vanessa. You guys are going to get married on tomorrow. I mean, like, she done planned the wedding for tomorrow, y'all. She like, forget this. Y'all finna get married immediately because of what I did. I'm the reason why you guys aren't married. And every time Martin tries to say what he needs to say, she not letting him say what he needs to say. And then finally, after Jesse asks, can he be, the best man this time? Malcolm doesn't answer, and he's like, let me just talk to, mom. So he talks to her, and she's like, oh, so you're not getting married tomorrow? Well, I was going to make you the CEO of, Amistad Bank, but since you're not getting married, I guess you're not going to be the CEO. So once again, she dangles something that she knows that he wants, in order to control him, in order to get him to do what she wants him to do. And so when it's all said and done, he ends up marrying Vanessa. Now there is going to be a scene where your girl Vanessa is going to be at the house swimming. It looks like she's going to go into like a sauna or something. And Jeffrey and Carolyn are out talking. Now, this is when we find out about the land and whose name it originally was in. But we also find out that Carolyn is telling Jeffrey about how this all went down, yada, yada, yada. So, of course, Vanessa is ear hustling, so she knows everything that happened. Now, Vanessa's going to run into Anthony later at a restaurant, and she's going to let it slip out that, hey, are you talking about, what my mother-in-law did to you, how she destroyed your business? So I'm just like, this girl is definitely not to be trusted. Like, what is she doing? Like, she got what she wanted, but we are going to find out why she did that. So let's travel back for a second, because I've kind of went in some different places at this point. My bad, y'all. So anyway, Jesse and Tania are going to, be hooking up again. And Jesse's like, hey, I need you to break up with old boy. So she's going to end up breaking up with her boyfriend via text. And I'm just like, girl, come on now. Not via text message, but I don't know. Peter got some serious anger issues, according to his daddy. A text message might be the best route to go. Who knows? Okay, y'all. So meanwhile, your girl Karen did show up to the wedding, and she showed up in all black, by the way, just saying. And it was a cute black dress, but it was all black. She definitely was standing out. But, of course, Carolyn is like, and she sends Kimberly over there to let her know that she needs to go. So I feel like this was Martin's like last thing. Like, you know what? I can't do this anymore. Like, I'm done. Like, you done kicked my girl out of the wedding. You keep talking about her. Like, this is it. So anyway, Martin and his mom are basically gonna, have a little bit of a tat, a fight, whatever you want to call it. And he's gonna leave. And once he leaves, he's going to go hang out with Karen. They're going to go out to dinner. And lo and behold, your boy can't even pay for dinner with those credit cards, because mama done cut all them credit cards off, because apparently she's over the trust. You know what I'm saying? And once again, she lets it be known that, hey, like, I'm in control here. And she is going to use anything that she can to make sure that she can keep them in line, that they do what she needs them to do. Like, everything that she wants them to do, she wants this family to look perfect. It's all about appearances for her. Now, Martin is going to tell Karen, hey, go wait for me on my yacht. I'm going to go talk to my mom. But he never shows back up on the yacht, because he has to choose between the money and Karen. And, he chooses the money when it's all said and done. That's the way it looked like to me. Let me know what y'all thought. But to me, it looked like he chose the money. So anyway, he and Malcolm are going to be sitting in the car talking while he's looking at Kimberly basically send Karen off. And you can tell that he's kind of hurt. Once again, I don't know about this fall in love overnight type of thing. Apparently it does happen. And I'm sure that, people can fall in love really quickly or whatnot. But I still feel like there's a lot of stuff he don't even know who she fully is, to be honest. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But you can tell that he's hurt by this whole situation. And he's just like, are we supposed to never be happy? And then Malcolm is like, this isn't how you win with mother. You know what I'm saying? What would daddy do? WWDD. And it was like, what would daddy do? You know what I'm saying? So he's basically telling him, like, you wait for the perfect moment, then you strike. So right now, it's like Malcolm is playing the long game. You know what I'm saying? He's playing chess. He's making it seem like he's, doing what he needs to do in order to make his mom happy so that he can get to where he needs to be, which is CEO or whatever else it is that he's wanting to do. And then when it's time, I guess, they'll put their mama in her place or do whatever they need to do so that they can truly live their lives and be happy. Now, I do want to travel back to Vanessa for just a second, y'all, because Vanessa, I just do not understand. If she knows that he's in love with Morgan and he's been with Morgan all of this time, all of these years, why is she so doggone determined to be married to him? And then when they show that scene where Carolyn is like, here, sign this, and it's a prenup, and she refuses to sign the prenup, I'm like, it's the money. It has to be the money. I really don't think that Vanessa cares about Malcolm like that at all. Like, the fact that you're willing to be with this man, knowing that he's gay and that he's in love with this other man, you know what I'm saying, that he's been dating for years, even while he was married to you, like, something doesn't sit right with me on that one. And that's because she in it for the money. Like, that's the only thing that makes sense. She don't want to sign a prenup because she don't want to walk away with nothing, you know? So I guess, I don't know. Let me know what y'all think about that whole situation. But anyway, y'all, speaking of Vanessa, your girl Vanessa is going to help Anthony make another move. Just when it looks like your boy Anthony is all the way down, he's having to sell his house. He can't buy the land. Like, everything just feels like it's collapsing. And he's over there just eating his feelings with all of this food. Vanessa comes through with a win for him. You know what I'm saying? She comes through with Wyclef. And Wyclef is like, hey, that phone that you sent me, that was fire, and I want to do business with you, and I got just the person, you know, to help us out. And then in comes your boy Alexander Cora. Now, I don't know if Alexander Cora is the person that you want to get into bed with or the person that you want to do business with, but he is a billionaire, so he definitely has the funds. And this will be good for Anthony. Now, if you don't know who Alexander Cora is, the only reason why I know is because he is in the family business as well. He was the adversary in the last season. So if you watch the family business, then it is that Alexander Cora who is going to be helping Anthony finance, who is going to be basically his investor. You know what I'm saying? So when it's all said and done, your boy Anthony still comes out on top. He doesn't end up having to sell his home. And he's like, look, we're going to, you know, take over the city. Like, Carolyn Britton basically ain't seen nothing. She may have won the battle, but we in this thing. So it feels like this is going to be an ongoing situation with these guys. Who knows? But at this point, as far as this series is concerned, we shall never know. Now, at the very end of this particular episode, your girl Carolyn is going to be coming out of her house. She's going to be celebrating all of the things that she's done, feeling good about herself after she's basically made her sons completely unhappy. She broke a man, you know what I'm saying, all the way down to his last dime, so she thinks. But she's happy about this because she was able to get the land, and this was a victory for her. But then Jeffrey's going to come up and she's like, you know, Jeffrey, what are you doing here? And he's like, you know, this is the paperwork. It looks like the government has dropped all the charges against Moses and he's coming home. And when you say that her face was like a freaking ghost, like her face was like, what the world? So we know that there is definitely a story here. So it sounds like when Moses comes back, he's probably going to go back to being in charge of the day-to-day and being in charge of everything, because right now it feels like she's in charge because he's not there. And she's the one who, you know, has taken over while he's not there. So I feel like there's definitely another you know, probably some other series or some other story that he has that dives more into the Brittons. And then we still have to know what actually happens with the Johnson if this feud is ongoing. Like, there's just so many questions that I have about this whole situation that's really making me want to go look at some freaking Carl Weber books and maybe just sit down and read the stories, y'all. Like, seriously. So anyway, y'all, that's what's up with the Black Hamptons. This was episodes 3 and 4. Let me know what y'all thought about it. Leave it all down in the comments. Until next time, guys. Peace.